I get it, risk taking is hard, and especially if you're not getting used to taking risks, it may seem super scary and it might not feel natural to take risks. However, you gotta realize if you never take risks, you are losing on opportunities that you could have taken advantage of. Taking risks shouldn't be that scary or that hard as you may think, because we can talk about different levels of risks. If we think about this in a most simple way, let's say you would like to learn a new skill. Obviously it requires some dedication and time investment in learning and the learning process itself. And it's a risk in its own way. So if you can't learn the skill like in a way you want to, or you're not able to take advantage of that, it was kind of a risk that didn't pay off, right? Personally, I think it's much more better to take risk and find out whether it was a good or bad decision. Because if you never risk and live in this type of situation where you don't know whether you should do that or not, it's gonna cause much more, overthinking and analyzing too much, and that leads to a huge inaction. So in this video, I'll go over 3 reasons why you must take risks. Number 1, unpredictable opportunities. So let's talk more about this. When you take risks, you're basically opening yourself different paths to unpredictable opportunities, right? Because when you risk, you sort of get an access to something that you can achieve potentially. If you don't risk at all, basically all those opportunities are closed for you. So maybe you take a huge risk and try to start your own business, or you invest a lot of money in the stock market. Basically anything that you don't feel comfortable doing involves some type of risk, right? But you have to look at it in a positive way. If you sort of succeed in the process, it is a major win for you, right? Maybe your business doesn't succeed. However, even if it didn't go as planned, at least you have that experience of what it takes to take such a big risk. And you know how to deal with that kind of situation in the future. Something that makes me very interested about taking risks is that you really have these unpredictable opportunities. So you don't know, for example, that in what kind of people you can run into, or find new passions perhaps, discover new places in the world, whatever it is. Even though if the risk doesn't pay off, I still think you win at some stage. If the risk was not worth doing, at least you know about the process and you get that experience, right? I would rather risk a bit doing something than just staying in the same place doing nothing. And if you're liking this video this far, make sure to hit the thumbs up and subscribe for more so you don't miss the newest uploads. Let's continue. Tip number 2, leaving your comfort zone. When it comes to taking a risk, you're basically leaving your comfort zone. I mean, if you take risks, let's say many times a week, and you're kind of used to that, which means you have a habit of taking risks, it might not seem like you're leaving your comfort zone. It really depends on what kind of industry and aspects you are taking the risks. But let's just, for example, take investing in the stock market. So if you have never done that and you think investing is scary or requires huge amount of money to get started, that's the wrong kind of thinking. If you think in this way, it's basically because your mindset has developed in a way that it's trying to hold you back, and you're trying to create excuses not to do something that can actually be beneficial because you don't know about that, or you're scared of, for example, losing your money, like in this case. What I recommend doing, if you know you should, for example, invest in stock market, but you're not doing that, go and start it, because that's the best time for you to learn about that, learn how money works in there, and learn about yourself, especially how you deal with the risk. And I can tell from my own experience, I didn't think about it as a scary thing. I started investing and it feels natural to me. I'm not stressing about that at all. Obviously, one thing that helps a lot is having a clear plan for how to do that. But in general, taking risks will help you to step outside your comfort zone. The importance is that we develop the most when we are performing things outside our comfort zones, right? Because you have to force yourself to do things you feel uncomfortable doing. And once you start taking more risks and you're able to leave your comfort zone more often, you start to feel that it feels natural to, for example, take a little risk, step outside your comfort zone. You find out that actually you can deal with certain level of risk easily. You don't have to be worrying about that. However, the next step of that is that you take a bit bigger risk, test something new, find out new opportunities for yourself. And this doesn't mean that you should risk basically everything you can, but do take risks on things that you're interested in. You never know what can happen, but if it pays off, you will be thankful for that forever. And last tip today, tip number 3, experience. This is the most valuable thing you get when you take risks consistently. Experience teaches us how to behave in the future in that kind of situations. Experience is the best way to learn from your mistakes, and experience also helps you to live more richer life in different aspects. So when you take risks, it is natural that you get more experience about different things you do. That's why, in my opinion, That's one of the biggest benefits when you take risks. That process also teaches you a lot about yourself. By learning from your mistakes, when you take risks, you can take advantage of that in the future when you do something similar, for example. Here's one important thing. The younger you are, the more risk you should take, because you have time to fail, you have time to succeed as well. If you, for example, fail or have a big loss and you're still, let's say, in your 20s, that's not the end of the world. The best thing there is that you can take advantage of your experience and leverage that and, be ahead of maybe 90% of people doing things you want. That's why risk taking is so important. Doing it moderately is, in my opinion, the best way to go if you're not familiar with it or you feel a bit scared taking risks. Honestly, in some cases, it is much better to take a risk than do nothing. Having an ability to take risk and understanding where it can lead to, negatively and positively, is such a powerful thing, because if you can do that, you will appear as a strong person, because even though you fail, you know what to do in the future, right? It also shows that you have a strong mindset and you're not scared of taking a bit bigger risk, and even if it fails, you will win at some point. So that's why eventually it is much better to take little risks every now and then than just staying in your comfort zone doing nothing. That's all I got for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you're interested in living a disciplined lifestyle, make sure to watch this video next. It is about the best ways to discipline yourself. Take risks, and I'll see you in the next one.